Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Royal Caribbean's Jewel of the Seas and Perfect Day at Coco Cay. We're heading ashore for another round of fun and seeing for ourselves if having two smaller ships improves the overall experience. Then we head back on board where we finally experience Izumi for the first time ever, and we share our final thoughts on Jewel of the Seas. Is this 21-year-old ship worth sailing in 2025? We'll answer all that and more up next. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Today we are docked next to Adventure of the Seas, and then we of course have our Jewel of the Seas. So like I said at the end of yesterday's video, I'm hoping that today is going to be a much more chill day on Perfect Day, because the last time we were here we practically had two mega ships docked next to each other sharing the island. So I'm hoping today is going to be a much better experience. Let's go ahead and begin our walk over to shore, our short pier walk over to the island, and get this day started. As we make our way over there, I want to point out that we did have to check out towels while we were on the ship, so we're responsible for these towels the entire day, and if we lose them, it's $25 each towel that gets charged to my account, which is obviously not ideal. So something I'm not the biggest fan of when it comes to Royal Caribbean, but it is what it is. And of course, as you guys make your way down the pier, you guys will get a perfect opportunity to get a photo with the name of your ship. So over here we have Jewel of the Seas with a very flat booty, and then we have Adventure of the Seas with a BBL over here. It's got a butt. But yeah, make sure you guys stop by and grab your photos. Unfortunately, my camera's doing a thing where it fogs from the inside of the lens, so you're gonna be dealing with this for a little bit, unfortunately. I'm sorry about that. We mentioned this the last time we were here, but we're hoping that one day Disney can find a way to add some kind of shade to their pier over at Lookout Cay, because little things like this make a whole world of difference. And the paint on the ground too. Looks really cool. And who do we have creeping up on us in the distance? Look at that. I don't have internet service right now, so I have no way of looking up what ship that is, but there's no way that that's the Wish, because the Wish is at Castaway. Huh, but that's 100% a Disney ship off in the distance. You can see the aqueduct or mouse and everything. Actually, I think that's the Dream. So what did we just find?
Somebody pointed, there's a turtle.
Oh, he just dove. Wait,
Hi, buddy.
wait, come back. Come back. I didn't get you on video.
I have a vertical.
You have a vertical?
Oh, I am still recording.
You can see over here we have Thrill Water Park, which, by the way, babe, how much was it for the day today when we looked online?
It was less than 100.
I think it was 89.
89 sounds right. Because I know when we were on the lure, it was like 120 a person to go.
Yeah, so the price for Thrill Water Park varies by sailing and like by day, and even by time you book, because it all depends on a great many things. So make sure you keep an eye out on the price if you're looking to get in for cheap. Okay, here is our map of Perfect Day. So we are currently right here at the very bottom. We learned from the last time we were here that you don't necessarily need to take the tram wherever you need to go, because we really wanted to end up over here and we waited a lot longer than it would have taken us to walk. So what we're gonna do is, I think we're just gonna do a quick lap maybe, or depending on what Coda wants to do, we might just cut straight on through, because this is where we were last time, and we came over here to Cove Beach, and it was the most quiet and most secluded area of Perfect Day. So I think that's what we're gonna do, and just kind of hang out. We haven't had breakfast yet, so I know Coda's really wanting lunch, so she may want to go to Chill Grill. So we'll see. Let's head on over there and see what Coda wants to do. And in case you guys are curious, this pirate splash pad type thing is a free activity for the little ones. Over here we have Captain Jack's. This is going to be an extra cost restaurant over here at Perfect Day. It does have a separate menu. You do have to pay for everything that you get, and there is a bar here as well. And here's a look at the menu. You can see there's just a couple of things. They have chicken wings for $10, and then they have steak fries for $3. And take a look at this, guys. We actually discovered another free splash pad. It's got a water bucket and everything. There's a couple of slides back there too. This is cool. We got chicken nuggets. Look at them. All right, we've made our way over to Skipper's Grill and lunch has been served. I have some pulled pork over here, some barbecue chicken, some fries, a Philly cheesesteak, and some potato salad. It took me a second to figure that out. And Coda, what did you get, babe?
I had a corn on the cob. I got some tacos and some potato salad.
They have a lot of different options here. So let me ask you, do you prefer the options here or at... No, I don't even need to finish the sentence. Options here are at Castaway. And let me guess, because they have tacos here. Or do you just like the more variety instead of like a generic barbecue?
Especially if you have like a double dip and it's burgers both days. Like at least here you can get like sandwich today, taco. Not that I've seen a Royal do a double dip, but you know, like just repetitive at Castaway.
I see what you mean. I mean, it also doesn't help that we sail there so often. So, like, I'm sure you're probably getting tired of it. Me, personally, I don't get tired of it. It's always really good for me. So,
it's good. It's just, like, I'm still going to eat it. It's not like I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah, you just prefer this one over Castaway, that's all. You know, to each their own.
And the potato salad's not warm.
Oh, at Castaway it is. I will agree with you there. The potato salad does tend to get a little warm over there. So not only does Coco have chickens and turtles, but they also have peacocks now. Is that a male?
Yes.
Males are the ones that have the pretty feathers? Ah, okay. All right, let's go ahead and give you an example of some of the food that they have over here. So we have our taco station where you have a bunch of meats over here. You have your tortillas and rice over there, and it's the same thing on the opposite side. We come over here, we have our salsa and toppings bar. Down this way, we have French fries, corn on the cob, barbecue chicken. We have hot dogs and burgers, and then it just repeats all the way down. So what you see over here, same thing over here, same thing over there. Then over here we have our salads and sandwiches. Let me give you a quick example. We have our potato salad, we have different mixed greens, we have a Caesar salad, we have a cucumber and tomato salad. Same thing repeats over here. And then we have our different sandwich stations. We have a portobello and mozzarella sandwich, we have Cuban sandwich, and a shaved ribeye cheesesteak sandwich. And again, same thing repeats over there, same thing repeats over there. I love that you don't have to go to just one spot to get these. You can go to different places and get the same thing, so that way you're not really waiting in a long line. And then over here you have your fruit station with a bunch of different grab and go options. And then over here you have your juices, ice water, and then there's soft serve ice cream on the opposite side. So all of these options are free. So you have lemon lime, tropical mango, strawberry kiwi is my personal favorite, and just regular water. And then just like with the food on the opposite side, you have the exact same thing. And in case you guys are curious, lunch hours are from 11:30 to 3 p.m. And before we head out, I of course had to get an ice cream. It's a little bit more on the ice side than cream, but still really nice to have. And I also want to point out that this is only half of the food location. Over here we have a whole nother half that's not being utilized right now because there's no mega ship in port. If there's a couple of mega ships, then yes, they will utilize the whole thing. And ladies and gentlemen, here is a look at Oasis Lagoon, one of the largest freshwater pools in all of North America. This thing is absolutely massive, holy cow. But definitely not as crowded as I expected it to be. There's also a swim up bar over there that we're gonna walk past in just a little bit. You can see there's still plenty of room to spread out and have your own little space. You can see they also have some beds that are in the water a little bit, so that way your tuchus is getting a little wet while you're relaxing and getting a tan. We have a bunch of other chairs and umbrellas on the side over here, as well as on the opposite side. I also like the addition of these palm trees kind of here in the middle. Provides a nice little bit of shade. And you can see it even continues this way under the bridge. Again, there's another set of palm trees in the middle providing some excellent shade, some beds in the water. It's really nice. So not only do you have the option of the chairs in the water, you have the beach chairs over here, and then you have this big open grass area on either side as well. So you can lay out either a blanket or a towel and tan out here on the grass or just lay out in the shade. This is awesome. I love the options. Look at that, guys. You have a bunch of hammocks over here just ready to be taken. On our last cruise with the mega ship, you definitely wouldn't have seen this. Well, this is a cool little path that we found. We were walking from Oasis Lagoon over to South Beach, and this is the designated path. Holy cow, this is so cool. So we've made it to South Beach, and it's definitely a lot busier than it was the last time we were here, that's for sure. But you can see they have a basketball court over here. They have some ping pong, they have pickleball, a volleyball net over there. Look at that. They even have cornhole. All right, we've made our way over to Cove Beach, the farthest away you can be from the public. We have some more snacks. We have mozzarella sticks and funnel cakes for each of us. Babe, you relax now? You happy with your funnel cake? Is it tasty? Good. Excuse me, sir. Can we help you?
It's a ma'am.
Ma'am, sorry. I misgendered you. No free handouts over here. Sorry.
Statement still stands.
What did you say?
I will PG it for you. If my butt gets pecked, that's dinner.
Yeah, okay. Awfully bold of you to assume we won't turn you into soup.
You gonna do it again?
And what do you want? We'll take you both out.
Alan already knows the rules.
He's running away. They don't have food anymore, bail. I will kick you, sir. Look at you. You're too precious.
I need you to come into my line of sight because I don't want to move and scare you. You're so loud.
It's right behind you. So we're over here at Cove Beach. This is the Cove area. Down yonder that way you can see we have cabana guests, a whole line of cabanas right here. And I want to point out just how like empty-ish this beach is. You can see we have a bunch of day beds over here. Those are of course an additional charge. But it's so much quieter over here compared to all the way down there. You can see all the guests that are down there by those little huts and the swim-up bar and the walk-up bar, the floating bar, I think that's what it's called. There's a lot more people down there. So the further away you get from all the amenities, the less populated the beach is gonna be, if that makes any sense. Water's gorgeous though, I will say that. The water is gorgeous. It is just ridiculously hot outside. There's hardly any clouds, so there's not too much relief from the sun. Any little cloud that we do get, there's an instant temperature difference and it feels glorious. It's just really hot outside. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna head on back to the pool area and we're gonna hang out over there because I would like to get in some kind of water. Just salt water really isn't my thing. And in case you guys are curious, the regular day beds that you saw over there are $461 and the cabanas were $1,700. That is almost twice the amount of money that we paid for this cruise alone. Good Lord.
Well, we're at anyway.
Yeah, and that's what I said. She wanted to get the sweats, so that's why I can swap her.
Made it back to Oasis Lagoon. We found a couple of chairs in the shade, thank goodness. Now we can head on inside and have some fun. So I spent about 30-45 minutes inside the Oasis Lagoon pool. Really nice. The last time I was here, it was ice cold, so there was like no point in getting in it whatsoever. But Coda didn't get in it. Do you mind explaining why?
It's too people-y, people soup. I mean, could be worse, but
It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
Now, like, Coda and I, we're both germaphobes-ish. Like, Coda's a bit more of a germaphobe than I am.
I worked at a water park for a summer. I've got issues now. I know things. I'm good. Thanks.
So yeah, I'm a bit more willing to get in the pool than she is. I mean, like, by no means am I dipping my head in the water. Like, I would never do that in this kind of pool. Like, I wouldn't dip my head underwater. I wouldn't open my mouth underwater. I wouldn't be doing none of that. And I recommend that you guys don't do it either. But it's still really nice. And especially hanging out in the shaded areas, it is really refreshing. Especially on a hot day like today, it's really nice to go in. I wish Coda went in with me, but she has her reasons, and I completely understand why.
I was tempted. A kid asked the lifeguard if there were speakers under the water, and he said yes. I was tempted, then I was like, no. There's a swim-up bar.
I don't want to dip my head under the water. But yeah, like this area of the pool is a lot less crowded than the area by the swim up bar. It is definitely people soup over there, and that area is super popular. It's still a really nice place to hang out. Like if you're wanting to come here, I would recommend doing it more so in the morning than in the afternoon, because I'm sure once the afternoon hits, the pool is a lot nastier than it would be in the morning. Current time is 3:30 in the afternoon, and here's a look at one of the lagoons that you can swim in. It is connected to the ocean. You can see there is a little bit of a barrier over there. So if you're wanting to stay away from like larger fish or like sea life in general, this is the place to do it. You see a lot of families bring their little kids over here in this area. I do feel like it is a little bit safer of a place to bring them. So you can go ahead and look into that. It can get a little bit crowded. The last time we were here, it was pretty crowded, but as you can see right now, it's pretty dead. A lot of guests are making their way slowly but surely back to the ships. See, here's the thing with Coco Cay, and I don't know if it's just a me thing, but you are able to come here and experience it and have fun without paying anything extra. But it does seem like a lot of the upcharges are kind of in your face. So everywhere you go, there's an upcharge. Like over here, you can see there are cabanas off in the distance. On the opposite side, over here, there are a bunch of day beds lining the water somewhere over here. I promise you, they're there. But you have those, and then you have the upcharge restaurants, and then you have the bars everywhere. And then you have the people walking around asking you for drinks. Like, yes, a couple of those things do exist on Lookout and on Castaway, but I just feel like on Coco Cay, it's a bit more in your face, and you feel a little bit more pressure to spend a little bit more money to enjoy yourself a little bit more. And again, you are able to come here and enjoy yourself, but if you really want to get away from the crowds, if you really want to have space to yourself, then you kind of have no choice but to settle for an upcharge, because the adult-only area, it is an upcharge. You do need to pay extra to go in there. Then there's the Coco Beach Club. That is a more quiet area. It's not adult only, but it is a more secluded area. It's a private area. See, it's little things like that that kind of make me lean more towards Lookout and Castaway Cay, because I feel like over there, you don't need to spend anything extra in order to really have a good time. You don't need to spend any extra to go to a quiet location. Does that make any sense? I also want to point out that there is a designated snorkel area over here on Coco Cay, which is awesome. And then they have those swim up platforms over there where you can stand up and you can jump off and do whatever you want over there. That's also a really unique thing. Granted, there's not a whole lot, to my understanding, that's like sunken over here for you to discover. Like there's a couple of things, but nothing crazy like you would find on Castaway. But it is another option for you guys, and it's something different for you guys to do here as well. Now, I gotta say, we are extremely fortunate to have the weather that we have right now, because I have seen TikToks and other YouTube videos of this place where it is like a full-on monsoon out here, where the waves are going crazy, they're crashing up against the rocks, it's windy, rainy, and it is just miserable. Definitely the farthest thing from a perfect day here at Coco Cay. So weather like this, even though it's really hot outside, I'll take it. After a short walk in between the two ships, it is time to reboard the Jewel. All right, we have returned to our room. Guess the towel animal. Hey, eager beaver.
Turtle.
You're guessing a turtle?
A wee turtle.
I'm gonna say dinosaur.
Dinosaur.
What is it?
Nothing.
Nothing? You didn't give us a towel animal?
Because we hid the hippo.
We hid the hippo. So he couldn't decapitate and kill the hippo to make a new one. Oh man, what's playing? Oh, Alvin and the Chipmunks again. All right, so, well, here's what we have on our bed. Whoops, dropped my sunglasses, it's fine. We have our luggage tags for getting off the ship tomorrow in case we want to have our luggages brought down to us. We have an additional tip form. If you guys want to tip additional, this is what you put the money in. And I don't know what this is. What is this? Prior to their assigned departure time. These are estimated departure times for your luggage tag numbers. Ah, okay. So we are luggage number 26, so our estimated departure time is going to be at 8:20 a.m. So in case you guys have any flights or anything, you guys can take a gander and figure out what you can expect. I know it's a little difficult to see. They're all very tiny, but let's see. Tag number 42, 8:45 is your scheduled departure time. So that is the last scheduled departure in case you guys are curious. And with that, it is time for us to set sail away from Perfect Day at Coco Cay and make our way back to Fort Lauderdale. All right, Coda and I are dressed up and are ready to go to our final dinner of the cruise, and this time it's going to be someplace different. So on Royal Caribbean, there are several different specialty restaurants, and one of them is a Japanese restaurant called Izumi. So we're going to be checking that one out tonight. I'm really excited. Let's head on upstairs. So we have made it outside on deck 12. You can see Adventure of the Seas over there, leaving Perfect Day at the same time we did. What? You have a good eye on you. You guys aren't going to be able to see that, but there is a Disney ship over there, and most likely it is the Disney Dream or the Disney Wish as it leaves, what is it, Castaway Cay. Still not sure, but we need to make our way towards the very back of the ship to head on over to Izumi, so let's go ahead and go. All right, we have made it inside Izumi. Hello. Yes. You can see this restaurant is very, very small, very, very personal. What do we have over here? We have our raw fish over here. You can see the crab, the shrimp, other different types of fish and tunas. Ooh boy. All right, so we have made it to Izumi, and again, this restaurant is small. So on other ships, Izumi has a hibachi part where you have the different tables and you have the and you get the, you know, butterfly shrimp, you know, all that jazz that you love with hibachi restaurants. They don't have that here. So it's just a straight up Japanese restaurant. So let's go ahead and take a look at the menu. So with our pre-purchase dinner, you could either get one small plate, 2 large plates, and 1 dessert, or you can get 2 small plates and 2 large plates. So you guys can go ahead and pause the video if you guys want to take a closer look at all of the different options. We also have the small plates over here as well. Looks like we're starting things off with a warm towel. Love that. So before we order anything, they came out with some edamame. Not my personal favorite, but Coda's definitely tearing them up. So I just wanted to show you guys the Disney ship we saw off in the distance is in fact the Disney Wish, not the Dream. And then right next to it is the Disney Dream as well. It's a little bit harder to see off in the distance, but they are both there. Our first course has arrived, and how awesome is this? They gave us complimentary miso soup. This is normally a separate option on the menu, but he said he's not going to charge us for it. He just gave it to us for free. How awesome is that? Okay, our appetizers have arrived. Coda has the shrimp and pork wonton soup. It's clear chicken soup, shiitake mushrooms, scallions, shrimp, and pork wonton. And then she also got the shrimp firecracker spring roll. This is deep fried shrimp, crab meat, a simbal chili, and cream cheese. And I opted for the pork gyoza dumpling. It's pan-fried pork wontons in gyoza sauce. And for my second appetizer, I opted for the vegetable and shrimp tempura. So I know it's very difficult to see, but you can just barely make out the Disney Dream and the Disney Wish as they get ready to pass each other. That's so cool. I love that the Disney ships are able to do that. It gives passengers a nice opportunity to wave hello. And check this out, guys. Our entrees have arrived. I got the udon noodles with beef. It looks and smells amazing. And Coda opted for the tonkatsu ramen. If there's one thing that we love, it's ramen, so it's no surprise that Coda opted for that. You ready to dig in, babe? Go ahead and go for it. So we're both chowing down on our food right now, and it is all really good, but I want to touch on the price point for this. So the package we got was Chops plus 1, and it basically includes one night at Chops and then another night at a separate restaurant of your choosing. And it was like $75 or $80 for one person. So you break that down with what we got at Chops the other day, and then this is a lot of food. Especially if you do like the 2 and 2 and you share it, that's a lot. So it's like $35 a person for just this meal here at Izumi, and it comes with a lot of food. So I definitely think that you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with this meal and like the combo that we purchased.
And that price is if you book online in advance.
Yes, that is important to know. Book online in advance. That's how you get it. And last but not least, Coda has the Snow Crab California roll, and I opted for the sashimi. So this comes with 3 pieces each of tuna, yellowtail, salmon, and shrimp. So I was fully prepared to pay for a chocolate lava cake because you know Coda, she loves her lava cake, but our server brought it out to us for free. What the heck? I mean, we did tell him that we were married 2 weeks ago. So I feel like he's making our night a little bit special, but that's awesome. I cannot believe how great of a server he was. He was fantastic. Oh yeah, this chocolate lava cake, really, really rich, but really delicious. All right, our first Izumi experience on Royal Caribbean. Well, my first, because you've done Izumi before many years ago on Oasis, but my first Izumi experience, phenomenal. And I know this is only our second Royal Caribbean cruise, but this has been the best dining experience that we've had so far, and it's all because of our server. Our server, Ronald, was fantastic. Oh my gosh, Royal Caribbean, if you're watching, give this man a raise. He deserves all the praise. He was phenomenal. He took great care of us. He gave us phenomenal service, and he also gave us some great marriage advice. He said he's been married 31 years, which is fantastic. We mentioned to him when we first sat down that we were married 2 weeks ago. So yeah, all in all, fantastic experience. If you're on Jewel of the Seas and you can somehow manage to get Ronald as your server, you're going to love it. All in all, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. That was fantastic. Okay, we have made it back inside the Coral Theater for the final show of the cruise, and it is a West End Broadway musical type show. So there's going to be a bunch of different Broadway shows represented here. So right up my alley. Should be fun. At least that's what we're assuming. Okay, so we just got done with the West End to Broadway show. Before I say anything, I just want to say that the performers are talented, and they did a good job with what they had. That being said, that show was terrible.
Dated.
It is extremely dated. Like, it is definitely geared towards an older cruise audience. Like, a lot of the songs performed were songs that I haven't heard in years. These are like old school Broadway West End songs. And then on top of that, like I have no idea if it was just my own expectations that made the show bad for me, because I'm thinking of so many different great, phenomenal Broadway musicals in my head, and so many great songs that they could have pulled from to make it like a really high energy show. I was expecting a high energy show with maybe a couple of slower songs in the mix that you would know and love as a general audience, but no. It was none of that. It was just slow song after slow song after slow song. A couple of good ones, a bunch of no-name shows that no one really, like, shows that aren't even performed anymore, shows that a lot of people probably haven't even heard of. And then they threw Cats in there towards the beginning. Like, it was...
not even one of those songs I could name. Mind you, I'm not necessarily a Cats fan, but again, not a song I could name.
Yeah, like, they did Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, they did some Queen. Like, that was a high energy segment of the show, but the whole show could have been so much better by just picking more high energy songs, better Broadway musicals that a lot of people know and love and that people could get into. It was just an all-around disappointment, and I honestly hated it. We left before the show even ended, mostly because we had somewhere else to be, but it's very disappointing. Honestly, like, the most disappointing part of this whole cruise, which... I mean, to be fair, if that's the most disappointing part of the whole cruise, then the cruise is a win. But still, that was just bad. Don't waste your time on this show. If you're a Broadway nut and you are on Jewel of the Seas, a current Broadway nut, yeah. If you're a current Broadway nut with shows that have been performed even within the last 30 years, you're not going to enjoy this show. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this cruise up and give our thoughts. I feel like we've never done this type of thing before, where we just sat down and summarized our cruise. I mean, we've been on so many Disney cruises, we don't really need to summarize our whole experience, but this is our first time on Jewel of the Seas. You guys already know we sailed on Royal Caribbean for the first time ever last year, and it was on Allure of the Seas, which was an Oasis class ship, and this is the total opposite end of the spectrum. This is a tiny ship, only slightly bigger than the Disney Magic, just for a bit of a comparison. So let me start with you. What was your favorite part of the ship? Favorite area, favorite thing? What was your favorite part?
I liked the Safari Club.
I was going to say the same thing. I think the Safari Lounge or Club is my favorite venue on the ship. It's really well themed. It's really nice. It's a wide open space. I love the windows in the back to draw in some lights whenever you are in there for the daytime. It's a really nice space. There's a couple of bars in there, plenty of seating, and that's where all the adult entertainment was. That was definitely my favorite venue of the whole ship. Followed closely by the Solarium. I know we didn't spend a lot of time in there, but the theming in there was very unique, and it's not something that I expected on this cruise ship. You know, it's the theming in the Solarium is a far departure from everything else that you saw on the ship, so I really like that space as well. What was something or a venue or whatever that you didn't like about the cruise?
I just wish more was happening in the vortex. It was pretty. The bar spun. We didn't catch that.
We didn't catch that.
I ended up there. There was a rocket launch. It was a thing. But the bar, the seats, move. The bar itself stays still. But that was cool. But there was nothing ever really happening in there. There was quiet time. So you could, sit in there and read and be uninterrupted. But other than that, I just wish there was more happening in there.
Yeah, we looked at the schedule and we were looking for things to do in Vortex, and there was really nothing going on, which was really disappointing. I feel like that's a very underutilized space. It is also connected to the Concierge Lounge or the Diamond Club or whatever. It's
one of them.
It's connected to a lounge of some kind, whether it's suites or diamond, whatever. So I feel like that really limits what they could do in there as far as noise is concerned. But yeah, I feel like that's a very underutilized space. Something that was disappointing for me is that the pool was a saltwater pool. I found that out the hard way during the belly flop competition, that it was a saltwater pool. I feel like if it was like a freshwater pool, then I would have been more inclined to go in there. But at the same time, though, people soup. So this is a small ship, and there's only one main pool for all the guests, and then there's the Solarium, which is 18 and up, and even then, that venue was still a little small. I feel like if there was just one more pool somewhere for everybody to use, and not just the splash pad at the very front for kids, I feel like that would have been perfect. Overall, did you enjoy your experience on Jewel of the Seas?
Yeah, it was fun.
It definitely surprised me, because we booked this cruise 3 weeks ago, I think. It was less than a month ago that we booked this cruise, and we just did it because the price was good, and we really wanted to do something right after we got married, something that was different, and also give you guys some content as well. And I was pleasantly surprised by this ship. I had read that it was a 21-year-old ship, and that she had gone through a refurbishment recently, which, by the way, the refresh wasn't last year. It was a technical refurb that they did last year on certain areas of the ship, but the big amplification was back in 2016. So this ship is old, and in some areas you can tell that it's old, but in others you can't tell that it's a 21-year-old ship. It looks relatively new. Does the Jewel of the Seas have all the bells and whistles that you would find on an Oasis class ship, or even on a class like Freedom of the Seas or Independence of the Seas? No, absolutely not. I feel like if you're sailing on Jewel of the Seas, you're sailing on this ship for relaxation, because other than relaxation, there's not a whole lot going on. There's no big activities. There's no big venues to go to. There's no ice skating rink. There's no big sports area. There is a sports area, but it's not a really big one. There's no flow rider. There's no water slides for everyone to use. There's one little kid slide, and that's really about it. So yeah, make sure you do your research ahead of time as far as what you're looking for in a cruise, because if you have a lot of kids with you, they're probably going to get bored on this ship, I would think. There are the kids clubs, which we didn't go inside because we don't have any kids and we have no business really in the kids clubs, but
And we got on after the open house.
So, yeah, overall, I was still very impressed by the ship, and we still had a blast. I think we will both agree that we'd be more than happy to sail on Jewel of the Seas again. Are we necessarily going to go out of our way to sail on it again when we have so many other ships in Royal Caribbean's fleet to choose from? No, but we would still be happy with it, and I think you guys would be happy with it as well, as long as you're looking for something more toned down and a more classical cruise experience. I think that's what I would describe this as a more classical cruise experience where you're just in it for the vibes and to just chill and relax.
Yeah.
On the bigger ships, there's a lot more to do, and I feel like it can be a little bit more chaotic. Food on the ship. Did you enjoy the food?
Yes.
The food was really good overall. The only disappointing thing was the red velvet cake over at Chops. I was very disappointed in that. But other than that, everything else was fine. Everything that we had in Windjammers was good. The one night that we had in the main dining room was okay. The steak was pretty solid. Yeah, I really have no other complaints. The atrium was really nice. The Centrum, that really surprised me. I was not expecting it to be that nice. No, do you have anything to add, Mr.
He wanted
Hippo?
friends, but they killed them.
He had one friend, and he had to watch it die, unfortunately.
It's okay.
We wish we would have had more towel animals, or as Brian and Carrie would say, Gus's, but unfortunately that didn't happen. But anyways, I want to thank you all so much for watching today's video and for watching this entire series through all the way until the very end. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Have you guys ever sailed on Jewel of the Seas or any other ship in this particular class? Did you guys sail it pre-amplification? What were your thoughts? And have you sailed it post-amplification? And of course, share your thoughts as well. Our next cruise together is not going to be until August, where we are going to be sailing on Star of the Seas. For me, I have another cruise in July, and that is going to be on Carnival, so I hope you guys are excited for that. We're going to be heading on over to their brand new island destination of Celebration Key. So again, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so that way you don't miss those videos. I hope you are all having a wonderful day, morning, afternoon, evening, and we will see you guys in the next video.